What's up, my fellow gamers? It's Saltiest Gaming, and we're back with another podcast. How you doing, guys?
What's good?
What's up?
All right. So, if you guys want to give your quick intros here, starting with Nick, I'm going to start the chat up. Tell him what's up.
What's up? Nick Fury, back again for the what episode is this now? I don't know.
I looked it up because we started the podcast and it was called something else, and for the actual, the ones that we're doing under this title, it's probably the 8th episode is where I think we're at now. So it's pretty cool.
Yep. You know who it is.
Yeah. What about you, Jago? What's up? What's going on, man?
What's up, everybody?
What's up, brothers? Diego Cukin. Just glad to be here. Help spreading that saltiness, brother.
Oh, we're good. Sorry about that.
Help spread the saltiness.
Yo, Fonz, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, everything's going good here, man. Just getting through these intros are kind of like stop motion animation. What's going on here? Everybody's like,
yeah, I know. We're just warming up. We got to get some caffeine in us and get this ball rolling. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. It's one of those things where we're going to get through it. But yeah, guys, we're going to talk about a bunch of great topics tonight. Salty's got some cool stuff to talk about, and let's just dive right in, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the first topic. The topic that I want to talk about is, surprise, surprise, it's Cuphead again. Cuphead's been in the news about how good it's doing sales-wise. I just want to give a shout out to the dev team that worked their, blood, sweat, and tears and putting, their houses on the line, their life savings on the line. It's a couple of brothers putting this game out, and it's outstanding to see, the kind of success that it's having, not only on a sales level, but a cultural level. This thing is extending out. My wife doesn't game, and, I had the game on last night, and I'm cussing left and right. I'm saying, she's like, dude, calm down. I'm like, this game is crazy. It's, I'm just check it out. Watch me for like 2 minutes play this game. And she saw it, and she's like, oh, let me get a crack at that. And I'm like, you don't want to start here because I'm on the level where you're playing with the bird. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. It's on the second island. But anyway, the good experience about that is she never wants to play games, but she saw how cool this game looked. And then we actually had a chance to play some couch co-op together. So that was a nice experience. And the funny thing is I saw her do the tutorial and she breezed past it, So we had that incident with the, the media guy. I won't name him, but he struggled with that, and that was a big, it became a meme. But she breezed through that, and we got through like the carrot boss together, so that was a cool experience. So what do you guys think? Let's start off with Fonz.
Hey, man, this game, we've talked about it last podcast too, how great this game is, but it is very challenging. I mean, it's a challenging game. We've all laughed at like the tutorial and stuff, how that one journalist couldn't get through it. But I think that a lot of people find this game kind of foreign to them in terms of difficulty. I think there's a lot of gamers out there that haven't played a game this hard in quite some time, at least. I mean, I know for being an older gamer like myself, retro gaming, as the kids want to call it today, those games that we used to play in the 80s, man, they were hard. Even in the 90s, they were hard games. We had games like Mega Man. Play that today. That thing is tough.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of games that had one life. That's all you had. And if you died, you had to start over. And I hear people calling out like, we need checkpoints in Cuphead. And I'm scratching my head going, really? Checkpoints? It's not that big of a game. But, it's the levels aren't that big. I mean, I don't think there needs to be a checkpoint throughout the level.
No.
It's a hard game. It's tough. And I myself have died plenty of times. And I'm not embarrassed by it at all. It's tough.
Yeah. So, Nick, what do you think of this whole phenomenon with the difficulty and, even the success of this game? You think there's kind of a disconnect between generations with gamers? Like, have the newer generations kind of grown soft, or like what's going on with that situation?
Yeah, for sure. I think for sure. I've I've talked to people about this game, you know, people my age, and they look at it and they've all like, even people that I, you know, have talked to that don't play video games anymore, but I've showed them this game and they're like, oh my gosh, that game looks so cool. And they're like, well, man, can I come over and play the game? Like, people have been asking me to come over to my house and play the game. So, I mean, as far as that goes, people see this game and, you know, no matter, you know, how old you are, they see it and they're blown away by it. As far as the younger generation goes, I mean, they've all grown up on first person shooters and everything's 3D and all these buttons and checkpoints and everything's pretty much, I mean, it's not catered to you, but you know what I mean? It's just, gaming is a lot more, it's not easier, but it's a lot more, I guess I would say more comfortable, I guess. You know, doing stuff like that. But I don't know, man, this game for me, like, it still blows my mind. Even as mad as I get with it, I'm still stuck, you know, in the amusement park, and I still enjoy playing it, even though I'm getting my ass kicked. And so, like today, all I did was I found I love this game so much. I love the soundtrack. I found the soundtrack on YouTube, and I just listened to it. I had to go pick up my kids, and so I listened to it, you know, all the way down there and back, you know, and I was watching how they were doing the music for it because they have a few videos up, watching the actual sessions of them recording all the music and stuff, and it's pretty cool. And so, as far, you know, to me, this game is just it blew my expectations out of the water more than anything, and all the hard work behind it, as you mentioned, the developers, you know, all this, everything that's went behind this game. I just love everything.
Yeah. Jago, so what's your take on the whole thing? Like the success of the game and the difficulty situation, like what do you feel about that?
The success of the game, I wasn't surprised by that because I knew the first day I saw it, pictures of it, I knew I was going to pick it up, and I knew people that gamed in our era would pick it up because it's a nostalgia thing. Like Mooch likes to say, nostalgia is a hell of a drug, but the people that are crying about it or talking crap to other people about, you know, you die this much or it's too hard, those are gamers that they have been handheld by the games they grew up on, which we grew up in a different era, so they don't know. Go back and play Contra, Castlevania, Mega Man, like Jay said, and you'll see we grew up on this. This is nothing new to us. We're used to that. Go back and do those games and tell me they're easy. They're not. I mean, it's just that was part of the gaming era we grew up on. But I mean, as far as the popularity of the game, no, I'm not surprised at all, brother.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know necessarily what's changed about video games and like the length of them or the fact that they're more, you know, geared towards like cinematics and stuff like that and checkpoints. But back in the day, you know, it was this model. You know, it was difficult. You had to do it over and over and you know, learn the patterns and stuff like that. And this game is definitely difficult. But I saw something crazy on social media today. I'm not going to name names because some of these people don't deserve the time of day. Okay, but something happened where, you know, a person, you know, was happy about their accomplishments on Cuphead. So they're like, hey, you know, I only died this amount of times, and because there's a pool on the island too where it will show you, you know, how many times you died on island 1. So he's like, you know, this person said, you know, hey, I only died this many times. I think this is pretty good. I'm having fun with the game. Left it at that. You know, he posts that and then boom, gets blown up by a person. And this person's like, oh my God, you know, you died this many times. This game's not that hard. What are you doing? You don't even belong, you know, doing what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. This is, you know, the side of gaming that I don't like. You know, people aren't skilled at all games, and you know, there's a variety of types of games and genres. It's impossible to be, you know, good at every single game. It blows my mind to know that people are out there that's just gonna talk shit on you because you died in this game. I died a lot, man. I'm glad I didn't post it on social media. What do you guys think about people trolling people on the internet and saying they're not good enough? Does this stem from that whole, you know, journalist posting his video on not being able to go past his tutorial, or is it something deeper? Fonz, let's go with you to begin with.
I think it's much deeper than just the journalists that we've had lately that couldn't get past that tutorial. But I think what it comes down to is just this day and age, so much negativity, so much just negative bullshit thrown at us, whether it's in the media, whether it's gaming related or not. I mean, we're constantly bombarded with just negative thoughts, negative, stuff. And I think that transcends into our social media space deeply. I mean, if you look up on social media, some of these gamers, they're talking about politics, they're talking about race. There's a lot of shit that goes on that just is not needed within the community, within gaming. I mean, that stuff, it spreads, all throughout gaming. It's like, if they can't bring up politics or the race that they're fighting about that day, and they're pissed off about something like that, they're going to take it out on their fellow gamers. They're going to say, oh, wait, at least I can attack that guy. He died this many times. Oh my God, he sucks, and they're just filled with hate. There's a lot of people out there filled with hate, and it's sad. It's really sad. And it's something that I'm guilty of at times. Like, I may be in a bad mood, and I may lash out at somebody for saying something or doing something that really is unrelated to what I'm really mad at, what the root cause of why I'm mad. And I think it's just this day and age, man. I think that there's just too much negativity in the world.
Facts. So, Jago, I want to hear from you. Like, what if you were in this situation? Have you been in this situation on social media? Do you think that it's something that's a problem in gaming, or I want to hear your take? Like, how do you feel about the situation?
It's not only a problem in gaming, it's a problem in society, man. That's why everybody's scared to post or, do things on social media or, show this or do that, because they're afraid of the backlash. And it's not just in gaming, man. It stems all the way down to politics or whatever. People, I don't know. My dad said a long time ago, and these years ago, he's like, there's something wrong. This is probably 20 years ago now, and this is because we had changed in his generation. From his generation, he's like, there's something wrong with people now. Y'all are missing something, and it won't chromosomes. My girl just said chromosomes, but it would say, so y'all missing something in y'all's brain. It's the same thing. I see it as a cry for attention, because if people can't get their voice heard or their opinion out there, they get upset. And I think this person was just trying to get attention so she could voice her perceptions or her views, and just get more views or whatever. I mean, and it's just not video games. It connects to everything in life, dude. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, exactly. Nick, how do you feel about this situation?
Man, anybody, like, I'm new to like the whole YouTube and new to the whole gaming community, so I haven't experienced anybody like attacking me like that or coming at me yet. So I don't know, but if that was to happen to me, man, I mean, there's a block button for a reason, and I'll just block that person and mute them for real. I wouldn't really want to mess with that. People who would want to come at me for an opinion, or they think I'm stupid, or they think I'm a moron, I mean, whatever. Like I said, there's a block button for a reason. I just think it's unfortunate somebody would do that just for attention, or if they're angry. I looked at this person's YouTube like 5 minutes ago, and it just seems like their whole gimmick anyway. So, I mean, whatever. But if that would ever happen to me, I mean, there's a block button for a reason. I got my homies. I know who I roll with, and I know who's cool with me and whatnot. Yeah. So it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I started my gaming channel is because I'm passionate about gaming, and it doesn't just because I play on a certain console. I prefer a certain console. But, I think people get caught up too much in this, the gaming wars and all this other stuff. In the end of the day, it's just a plastic box you play on,
Amen.
And to just go after someone and then call them a fraud for, little reasons like this. It's just not, right. It's not a good look, man.
It's not, it's not a good look. And like, here's the problem. I find a problem with it is because gamers want to complain that that we get made fun of for gaming by the regular world. Adults should be gaming. That's for kids. Yada yada yada. Yeah, here we are as adults acting like children versus each other. Like, if you want people to take you serious about what you do, you should probably start acting like a damn adult. Like, real talk.
It's true, man. I mean, we're getting into new territories because, let's be honest, you know, we started off gaming at different times, but we're all adults here. So this is new territories. If we want to have gaming looked upon as something that, you know, is a legit pastime, and it's not for, because people have, you know, these people that aren't involved in the gaming scene, they just have these weird thought processes on gamers and gaming in general. And when you know, exhibit these, you know, stereotypes, it just furthers the negativity. You know what I'm saying? So we got to do what we got to do. We'll spread the positivity, and then, you know, it is what it is. Go ahead,
funny
Fonz.
you mentioned we'll spread the positivity. You know, I try to do that. However, I do get labeled as being negative a lot. And it stems from the fact that when we talk about certain things, certain games or certain consoles, I do tend to bring up a lot of the negative aspects on it. Doesn't mean I hate, you know, gaming or hate that console in general. It's just that if there's something wrong, I like to bring up those points because, for one, when you're on a podcast, you're like me, Salty. You hate the circle jerk thing. They're saying, oh, it's so great. It's so grand. This is awesome. Yes, it is. Pat on the back. Pat on the back. No, you have to, you know, not necessarily point something out just to be the odd man out, but you have to point the flaws out in things. I think it's very important for gaming. If we don't point out the flaws, you know, we're going to constantly get the shit we're force fed all the time. We're going to get the broken games, the unfinished games. We're going to get the consoles that have trash freaking party chats. You know, we're going to continue to get that stuff if we don't complain. And that's why I think people tend to call me negative with this stuff. But hey, I'm going to speak my mind because I want a good product. I want a good game to play, and I want my stuff to work. That's all, you know?
Yeah. And
I agree, man. I totally agree. Because if that's why I started watching Jay. If we always like praise everything the game companies are doing, game makers, game developers, they're never going to fix anything. They're never going to learn a lesson, and they're going to keep doing things their way, whether it's wrong or not. You have to give them feedback. And I'm an Xbox fan. I've since the first one. But if I always gave Microsoft a pass on everything they were doing, even though I didn't agree with it, they're not going to learn. They're not going to change. So, I mean.
And for me, it's like when it comes down to a specific video game, say the Star Wars thing that just came out recently, I got blasted from people saying, how could you not like that game? You know what? It's like this. Right. It's a personal opinion. When I said it was trash, I followed that up with, it's my opinion. It's trash to me. If somebody else likes it, good for them. I don't hate on them for liking it. I didn't go to Salty and say, Salty, you're dumb for liking that game. No. If he honestly likes the game, he likes the game. How can you tell somebody their opinion is wrong? You can't.
It's true.
You know, it's all subjective with games. People just, they can't grasp that sometimes within the community. It always seems like subjectivity should be off the table in some people's minds. And that's just ridiculous. And that's one of the reasons why I made my gaming channel too. So I commend you for making yours for some of the same reasons, Salty. And that's why I gravitated to your channel right away. And I said, you know what? I started promoting your channel because I was like, this dude is really doing it for good reasons. And I don't see anything wrong with doing an Xbox-centric podcast because, hey, that's his preference. I myself like all games and consoles, but hey, you're doing it the right way. You're not necessarily clickbaiting. You're not going out there and saying, you know, false, you know, giving false truths, just making stuff up. You're actually giving some news and stuff, and you're doing your thing, and you're doing it in a positive way. And I really respect that.
Have you guys noticed? Have you guys noticed if people nowadays, I ain't gonna say what generations, but if they can't make you think like they think, they go haywire.
Yeah, man.
Word, for real. Yeah, for sure. Like, man, for me, man, I mean, I don't prefer what I prefer, and I play with my, you know, the people that I prefer. But it's okay to have differences in opinion. Like, let's just take it a step further, not just, you know, if we don't do our jobs, and let Xbox or whoever know, or let the people who make the games know, you know, how they're messing up. But like just personal, like, I have differences. Like, me and Salty had a healthy argument yesterday about Star Wars because he didn't like the Starfighter, you know, battle mechanics, and I did, and he was like, this is trash, and I was like, nah, bro, I really like it. But like, there wasn't any bad blood between it. It was just like a healthy, like, conversation about it. And like, the more people will be able to do that, like, it'll be better. I don't like grouping up and being like, oh, I'm for Xbox only, and this is how we roll, or I'm PlayStation only. I don't like any of that.
Well,
I play games everywhere.
A lot of people have a mob mentality when it comes to like trying to push their agendas on you. If they can't switch you, they all gang up on you. That's why I can't stand about society as a whole, not even just gaming, a whole today.
Jago, it's a lot of reasons why I don't listen to many of these podcasts here on YouTube, because of that, you know, mentality.
Oh, I agree. And
the thing is like, I don't mind gaming channels that will cheerlead for a certain console. That's fine. People talk down about that, say, oh, they're just a cheerleader for Microsoft or a cheerleader for Sony. You know what? If they do it in a good light and they are calling out the bad within the company, then there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. That's their preference, man. You can't tell people that they shouldn't like a certain console because of your feelings. If they feel good towards the console, hey, so be it. But that's the thing. That's the underlying problem with people today, is the fact that they get their feelings hurt by the stupidest, smallest things.
It's true, man. Did you guys see the advertisements for the what's it called? The new game that's coming out that had, you know, Nazi propaganda in it, and it's obviously a game that is against that, you know, and people took it as like pro-Nazi and they got their feelings hurt. It's just, people are always ready to get triggered in this day and age, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're ready on the dime to block you or, you know, call you out, and if you go against what they say, then you're not for them, you know. I'm not about that life. I love to have healthy discussion, you know, and we can have, you know, counter arguments, but we don't have to hate each other afterwards, you know. So
exactly.
Me, you know, the example of me and Nick, it got a little bit heated because I was a little bit salty because I was trying to play Battlefront 2. I was trying to steer my ship, and I felt like I was like in some alternate reality where I'm, you know, steering up and I'm going down and I'm spinning my thing. I'm like, dude, this sucks because I suck at it. Usually that's the way video games are, right? If you are bad at a video game, you hate it.
I was the same way.
Yeah. So, and then Nick's in the background is like, oh my God, this is so good. I'm like, shut up.
I heard from a lot of people that was hard to steer. I didn't try that.
It is.
It's very hard to steer.
So
but I was having hella fun doing it, though. That was the thing.
It felt like someone got in my controls and fucking stuck the invert on, where you invert controls. Have you? If that's ever happened to you?
Yes.
Up is down and sideways is left is right. I'm like, damn, dude. I don't know. I don't know what you guys did. Like, if this is close to what real flying is, because that's what you guys were telling me. But that's some bullshit when I can't. I don't know, man. We'll see, dude.
I felt like I had a drunk backseat driver. A fire.
Yeah. So it's a perfect segue into our next topic, Battlefront 2 impressions. I know that Jay Fonzarelli, he's the #1 fanboy for Battlefront. He stood in line for the first game, and he dressed up in Star Wars memorabilia. So we'll go with him first. Okay. How do you feel about this game, Fonz?
All right. Well, I'm going to go back to the first game real quick because I did play the first game quite a bit with my brother. He bought it, and on the PlayStation, we played together, and I thought that it was just mediocre at best. Okay, it was really dry. Like, there wasn't a lot of content when it first came out. What I based my experience on, and the guns and everything just didn't feel great. And the fact that they're lasers and stuff, a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's because they're lasers. They don't have any real heft to them. You know, there's no real heavy feeling when you shoot it because it's a laser." I kind of understand that, but then I don't. It's like they should have given more kickback to these guns just to make it feel better. But The biggest thing I had was there was no ADS, no aiming down sights. And unless you, of course, are a sniper or something like that, then you can aim down.
Mm-hmm.
But just with the regular guns and stuff, I prefer a first-person shooter that can aim down sights. That's the way I play. I don't like third-person. So going into this game, I got a little hyped at first because I heard there was going to be a good campaign, and I heard that the Xbox One X features were going to be amazing on it. So it got me kind of excited for it. But then when the beta came out, I tried the beta, and I was like, oh, same controls, same gunplay. Yeah, I don't like this game very much. And now here's the thing with me, though, that's kind of funny is that I can play a third-person game, and I can play a game, a shooter like this, if it has a great story, if you're going through, that story and enjoying it and stuff. I could probably enjoy the story mode in this game. But as far as the multiplayer, I can't do it. It's just not for me.
I feel you. Well, since you have a different opinion than me, I hate you. I'm gonna block you. No, I'm just kidding. Nick, what do you feel about Battlefront 2 in the beta? I know you have some thought processes going on with it.
The game is, just from the small sample size that we got from the beta, it's good. The Galactic Assault, that's fun. That strike mode we played, that was kind of cool. It was kind of a capture the flag type thing. That was fun. I mean, we won't know too much more than what we know now until the game actually comes out. But from what we're playing, the visuals look nice. Sound is always, the sound effects and the soundtrack is always going to be good. Star Wars soundtrack. So, I mean, if you're a nerd, if you nerd about Star Wars, it's going to be great for you. But they did improve on the game. I mean, we all know that they rushed out the first one, to coincide with the movie that came out, just to raise sales. So they did their job there by conning us into buying the game, and based on, our hype on the new Star Wars. So they did improve on it. They added the classes. My only issue right now is I do agree with Fonz. If you're gonna have a first person option, you need to have aim down sights. But it doesn't bother me too much. I'll deal with that. But my biggest pet peeve is the fact that you cannot spawn on your squad mates. That is the thing that really because I'll spawn in and be like, where you at, Salty? And then you're way across the other side of the map, and I'm way over, way on the left side of the map, and I have to run all the way over to you to help you out. That's just really annoying. So I wish they would actually, have a squad spawn system.
Mm-hmm. Jago, did you play the game? Did you play the beta? I know you were having issues getting in. I'm not sure if you ever got over that.
Yeah, I played the game, man. Initially, I guess I was awed by the improved visuals. What they are. I think it's a good game. I ain't gonna say it's gonna be beat Call of Duty or anything like that. It's a good game, but the more I played of it, and this is just a preference thing for me, the more I played of it, the more I didn't like it. Yeah, the controls are a little better, but I stopped playing it yesterday, and I figured out what it was I didn't like when I went back to my standby. And my standby right now, believe it or not, boo me all you want to, is Titanfall 2's multiplayer. I've gotten used to the fast pace because I kept playing the Battlefront 2, and I was like, why do my feet feel like I'm stuck in the mud? I'm moving so slow. I've gotten used to the fast paced shooter now, so I was excited for it initially, and it's a pretty game. I mean, I'm not gonna knock it, and a lot of people are gonna love it. I mean, a lot of people are Star Wars fans, but I don't know now that I'm gonna pick it up other than just to play the campaign because I've gotten so used to the fast pace of Titanfall, and I can always fall back to Titanfall multiplayer, even though people don't really like that game. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's gonna sell well.
Right. Well, here's my thing. It seems like when I heard they were gonna reboot the game, I thought they were going to it was going to be Battlefield, but DICE is making it so it's going to be Battlefield, but Star Wars. And it seems like they want to try to, remain truer to the Battlefronts from the early 2000s, which is fine. But but it almost seems like they should probably just scrap all that and just make their own sort of game and stop trying to remain true to that, hero pickups and all that stuff. I get why they're doing it, but it would be nice if they just kind of just went their own direction and made their own game, because we all know DICE makes great games. They make Battlefields legit. So if they could just kind of make it their own identity instead of trying to follow the traditional early 2000s Battlefront, I think it would be much better.
I'll say the last Star Wars game I actually truly, really, really, really enjoyed, and y'all may say I'm crazy, was Star Wars: The Force Unleashed with Starkiller. I love those games. Yeah,
that game was dope.
Yeah, so I'll give you my thoughts, impressions, and then we'll move on. So Star Wars Battlefront 2 is, I don't know, it feels night and day to me, better than number one. I hated number one. It felt rushed. It was rushed.
Yeah.
The developers came out and said they were, getting the game out, for the Force
movie.
The Force Awakens. So they admitted that it was a half-assed game, bad mechanics, no story mode, blah, blah, blah. This game has classes. It feels more like, Battlefield 1 per se, not, with the gunplay or whatever. I do have to apologize a little bit to Fonz, because I was saying that you can aim down sight, but I was paying attention last night when I was playing, and it's not ADS. It's like a zoom option. It's weird. So like when you're, sniping, it's a zoom. If you're using your gun, it's kind of a zoom. It's not like a traditional aim down sights. Levi in the chat was talking about how, stormtroopers don't traditionally aim down sights, and that's true. And if you look at the battle droids as well, they don't pull the gun up to their eyes. They kind of hold it to their hip and shoot it. So it's an interesting scenario there, because you got to stay true to the lore, because all of this is connected to the overall arc for Star Wars, right? So Disney is involved with the storyline. That's what I'm excited about, because anything that they put into that story is going to be connected to the overall Star Wars lore. Okay, so it's going to be canon. That's what I'm most excited about. But the gameplay is what it is. I'm a looter shooter type guy. I like Borderlands. I like Destiny. So in that aspect, it's not going to hold my attention as much as like a Destiny per se. So it's going to be a filler for me, but like the flying battles and stuff like that, I ain't down with that, dude. Like I said, it's not my thing. And I think that knocks it down. I think that the excitement level for this game has been a lot lower than the first game. And I think that's because a lot of the people in the first game bought the base game plus the DLC, the huge packages, and then they got screwed over, So I think a lot of the customer base is just like, screw it. I'm not coming back and getting, bamboozled by EA again. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know. I personally, we try to get into some games and there wasn't a lot of people playing,
Can I tell you something?
What's up?
The VR mission, if you don't have a PlayStation VR and you don't have the original Battlefront, you don't know what I'm talking about. And you didn't pay attention to the social media or whatever. But the VR mission from the first Battlefront, it puts you actually in the cockpit. And while I was playing the in-space battles, I was so wishing I could get inside the X-Wing, because in the VR mission for the first Battlefront, I was kicking ass. I mean, it makes a difference. I think you need to be in the cockpit, because I was kicking ass and taking names in the VR mission because I was inside the X-Wing. Yesterday, I felt like I had Stevie Wonder flying me around. I'm serious.
Yeah, man, it's rough, dude. So I don't know, chat. What do you guys think of Battlefront 2? Are you going to be buying it? Is it a day one buy? Did the beta change your mind? One of the interesting things with Battlefront 2 is they did away with the whole paid DLC, so that's not going to be an issue. But I do want to touch upon a story that was in the news regarding Forza Motorsport 7. And they had this big fiasco with their VIP membership and all this other crap. It spurred my thought process with microtransactions and the fact that a lot of people are bitching over them. I want to hear you guys' take on this story in general. If you guys are motorsports fans or not, I want to know what you guys think of it, and we will start with Jago. Did you hear about this story? Like, what do you think about it?
What, the microtransaction things?
Yeah, with Motorsport 7 and, you know, Turn 10 having to, you know, flip-flop off of what they were doing. Like, what do you think?
I don't get upset over microtransactions because I don't buy them. I play the games to have fun and play to earn my way because that's how I grew up. Mm-hmm. I just think, I hate to go back to that, I just think people have gotten spoiled. I mean, if I can't buy my way to first place, they're going to bitch about it and put it on social media to try to get attention. Mm-hmm. If you don't like the microtransactions, which there is no microtransactions in the game right now,
facts.
Don't buy them. But why? I mean, just shut up. I mean, I don't get it, dude. I mean, I don't have it now because, you know, life gets in the way.
It's true, man.
You know, I mean, I'm going to pick it up, hopefully, when the X comes out. But I'm not going to buy I'm not buying microtransactions. I don't give a shit. I don't got money to waste on that. I'll earn my way.
So, Fonz, what do you think about the microtransaction situation in video games today? Is it, you know, acceptable? Is it not? Like, what's your thought process on it? Because
I personally don't like them, but it is what it is. It's there, and you know, I don't let it bother me because, like Jago said, I don't buy them, so I don't care. I just pretty much ignore them. And the funny thing is like, all this is really like coming to a head because of Forza 7, and there's no microtransactions. As you said, it's funny that people are bringing it up. And that's the problem with journalism today is they'll run with something and sometimes not even do their homework on it, because there's a lot of journalists about it and said as if there was microtransactions in Forza and not there. So what are they talking about? When they say pay to earn, like the note said, what are they talking about? Because there is no pay at all. It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. I just think that that's what's dangerous about some of these YouTubers making videos, is the fact that they'll say something that's completely wrong and their viewers will go out there and spread that misinformation. And then from there, it just keeps spreading. And now you've got a whole list of people up on Twitter that honestly think that there are microtransactions in Forza 7.
It's crazy.
So stupid.
It's nuts. Nick, what do you think about this whole situation? What's your take on it, man?
Are we talking about the Forza situation or just microtransactions in general?
Just both, man. Like, just want to hear from you.
The Forza situation, I mean, yeah, I have to agree with Fonzie on that one. I mean, people just need to do their damn research. That's just simple all it comes down to. As far as like microtransactions in game, somebody who, I don't know, somebody was talking to you. I don't know if it was on Twitter, if it was on your one of your videos on YouTube. They said that people don't understand that due to inflation, games should be a lot more than what they're actually being put out as, or something like that. And that if it, you know, microtransactions kind of helps equal that. I thought that was an interesting take. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's an interesting take.
I don't agree.
What was that?
I don't agree with that at all. That what he said about them being more money, costing more money because of inflation.
Yeah.
To a point, I would agree, but I have to say that I think more people today are buying games than they used to in the past. I mean, we've got more consoles out there, more games going out there digitally anyway. I think they're making their money hand over fist because of digital.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I don't necessarily agree with that statement. I mean, microtransactions, I mean, they're going to be here to stay. I mean, let's be honest. We've let the gaming community has let developers get away with it for too long, and it's going to be here to stay. And like, you know,
hey man,
don't like them, don't buy them. It's that simple.
Nick, you're correct. We are at fault for microtransactions. We bought the horse armor in Oblivion. It's our we shouldn't, but it is what it is. But this whole thing about, well, it's inflation, can't cost more. Well, guess what? If they should cost more, they would cost more. Believe it. They wouldn't be charging us $60. They'd be charging us $90 if they could, or even more.
Right.
Game companies are greedy. Plain and simple. They're not paying for distribution. They're not paying for the Blu-rays. They're not paying for the packaging. They're not paying for anything when it comes to digital sales. And digital sales are slowly taking over people. Just a couple of years ago, I had made a video on this, and I talked about how the projection was that digital sales were going to climb as high as like 29% or something by 2019. I think we've already surpassed that. We've already surpassed that in digital sales. It's insane. Gaming is freaking just, the digital sales are just, it's climbing at a rapid rate. Like, people are stopping going to GameStop and buying a physical disc. A lot of people are. I myself have, because of game sharing. It's appealing to me. It's crazy, but I don't want to get off on a tangent here about.
No, it's fine. I actually want to touch upon that because me and you had the discussion. I don't know who else was in the party, but we talked about game sharing. And I don't know. Someone asked Phil, right? They're like, hey, do you guys know about game sharing? You know, it's not being done the right way, the way you guys wanted it. You guys, you know, how is that? Blah, blah, blah. Talking about taking it away or whatever, the potential of that. But the fact is, he's like, you know, we know it's happening and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, what is happening with the game sharing situation is it's driving the digital market, right? I personally was all physical before game sharing, okay? I went to the GameStops. You know, I went to the GameStops, I bought my games, I pre-ordered them, I stood in line for the midnight releases, and then me and Shameless talked about it. He's like, did you hear about this game sharing option? I'm like, what is that? I don't know about it. And then he told me about it. I'm like, dude, if I could pay for half the games, I'm game, you know what I'm saying? So that thing, you know, it was a trickle effect. You know, you don't want to screw your friend over, so you're like, you don't want to buy a game physically for $60. It's kind of like you buy this game and I buy the next one, right? It's like I pat your back, you pat mine, and essentially you're paying $30 for a game, right? If you do the math or whatever. But what's up?
I don't think Phil Spencer, he didn't tell me not to say anything or anything, but when I talked to him on Party Chat one night, I was the one that brought that up to him. I asked him, I said, hey, tell me about this hearing thing, because it blew my mind when I figured out how to use it. And I set it up with me and my kids because I would do 2 copies of everything on both PlayStation and on Xbox. And I said, how is it that I can buy one and me and my son can play and all this stuff? And he just laughed and he said, you know, you guys are doing it semi-right because you're within home. He says, but we understand that people are doing it cross-country, even out of the country. People are sharing games and stuff. He says, but it is driving sales in the market. It's the digital sales are a big factor in this, why they're letting it continue. And he said that gaming companies came to them, and they still come to them every now and then. They bitch about the game sharing. They want it to end. The gaming companies that are the greedy ones that I brought up, they want game share gone. They want it gone. But Phil and company, they walk them around and they take them to, you know, their computers or whatnot. They show them, look, this is what your game sales are because of game sharing. Your game sales are actually skyrocketing because of game sharing. Without this, the digital sales would be down. And they show them, you know, their statistics and stuff. And he told me that straight up, they kind of shut up about it and walk away for a few months. And then they'll come back later on and they'll try to get rid of it again. They're just, it's fun. He says it's a thing that they're very they know about it. They know people are sharing it incorrectly or illegally or whatever you want to call it, and they know who's doing it. They can ban us in a second, he said, but they're not going to because it is driving sales.
Yeah, and if you would have said, you know, 5 years ago that, you know, a majority of people have been buying their games digital, they would have, you know, called you crazy. The idea of it, you know, back then, you know, didn't really spark people's interest. It's kind of like 4K televisions, the way it's going right now. You know, the market share is going to be about 50% in 2 years or whatever. So, you know, times change and, you know, technology changes and we got to change with it. But I want to give my take on Go ahead.
I still buy, and call me old school, I still buy most of my games physical.
Oh, yeah?
Because,
why is that?
call me crazy, I like to have the box art. I like to have the disc. Because if something ever happens and the whole, I mean, you know, the system shuts down the server shut down. I still got that game. I still got the disc. Whether I can play it or not, I mean, I'm old school, man. I still buy. I ain't gonna sit here and lie and say I haven't bought digital. Like Titanfall 2, Amazon screwed me. It was supposed to get here on the day it came out, so I had to buy it again so I could play it. I had to buy it digital so that I could play it that day. So I have that digital on the Xbox One. And then they screwed up so bad when they got here. I got the $250, collector's edition with the helmet. And guess what version they sent me? They sent me the PlayStation version. So I got the PlayStation version. I mean, put it in my place, it's still wrapped up. Mm-hmm. But I buy digital because I like that disc. I'm old school. I want that hard copy, just in case.
I was the same way, Jago. I used to buy physical all the time, and just up until last year, and then I started buying more digital. I buy digital now because it saved me a lot of money personally. But yeah, I feel you on having those game cases and stuff. That was a real big thing for me too.
Yeah,
I like displaying them.
Yeah, it's cool to have all your games physically. It's kind of an art piece almost, right? For some people. Jago, do you game share by chance? If I was to ask, like, is that a thing for you, or are you just straight?
No, it's not. It's not really. It's not. I'm like 95% physical. I mean, only time, like I said, I had to buy. I didn't have to buy it. Let's get it right. Let's get that straight. I didn't have to buy it. Mm-hmm. I wanted to play Titanfall 2 on the day it came out. So I got home that day and it wasn't here, and I talked to Amazon, and they're like, we messed up. I'm like, yeah, no shit. So I bought it at midnight from the Xbox store so I could play it at midnight. I've never been the one to go to a GameStop and sit in line because I'm too tired. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing all that. I'll go the next day, whatever. But yeah, not most of my games are physical. I don't really do the game share thing. If I needed to with a good friend or whatever, like say you guys or whatever, I would, but nobody's come to me.
That's cool. Yeah, man, that game share, once you find the person that you can, you trust or whatever, it's crazy, dude. It blows your mind, dude, So
it spoiled me a lot.
I told Rand, if he ever gets rid of his game share buddy, he gets
Yeah. All right, well, moving on to the next topic. I know we talk about this game a lot, and it's not even out, and I know a lot of people are sick of it, but it is one of the most popular games on Steam. So, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, it was rumored that BLuehole was in discussion with PlayStation about getting the game to them early, and I saw on social media a lot of the PlayStation people were like singing the praise and saying, look, it's not going to be exclusive for long, and then it was reported by credible sources is that BLuehole was going to the table with Microsoft to extend the exclusive nature of that game. I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about the potential of Microsoft and Xbox of buying the studio outright, because that's what they do. Let's start off with Nick. I want to hear your take on this whole situation.
I don't want them to buy the studio outright.
Oh, why is that?
I just remember Bungie and how Microsoft treated Bungie when it came to Halo, and Bungie was done with them and wanted to do Destiny, and Microsoft wouldn't let them do it, and so Bungie ended up doing it, and we could have had Destiny all to ourselves, but now it's multi-plat. I could see if this game gets as big as we think it's going to be, and it's already huge, but if we think it's going to be even more than what we think, than we think it's going to be, and Microsoft gets, buys the studio outright, I could see them treating them, we could be getting so many renditions of this game over and over and over again, and I don't want that. This is just, I think Battlegrounds is just its own thing, and that's it. So I think I just wouldn't like it.
Okay. And do you think it's, good that they're extending that exclusive deal out? Because it's rumored that it was about 3 months and they're trying to move that out to a year or further. Do you think that's good with Xbox, or you just don't care?
That's good. That's good. That's good. I mean, and it's good for Microsoft, it's good for the Xbox brand. If they could just get PUBG exclusive to Xbox, period, that'd be great. Because like we said, it's it's growing in popularity, and if Microsoft was able to get that, and I mean, that would be a good kick to the stomach to Sony, and it'd be great for Microsoft. So I would hope that they do that. I prefer Xbox. So if they did it, they do it, but it doesn't affect me anything because I'm still going to play the game. I'm on Xbox. I get to play it whenever. That'd suck if you were on Sony and you want to play the game and Microsoft somehow got the exclusive rights to the game. You couldn't play it unless you got a PC on Xbox, but it is what it is. But yes to them getting the exclusive rights. It doesn't bother me either way. No to them buying the studio outright.
Okay. All right, Jago, let's go next to you. What do you think of this news story and the potential of Microsoft buying BLuehole outright?
Well, I'll say this. Again, I agree with Nick, and I actually came to this realization yesterday. I was thinking about it once I read the story. This may be just me. I had never heard of BLuehole until PUBG. And, I haven't played PUBG. I've played the Fortnite version of it, and I've seen enough of PUBG. They're very similar. There's no story mode. It is what it is. You drop in, you get shot, you die, you have to go back and do it again. That can get monotonous, and only super hardcore people are gonna like stay on that game. And I don't see it. It may be popular right now, but I think it's going to be like a firecracker. It's going to get burned really hot and then fizzle out really fast. I mean, yeah, I agree with them extending the exclusivity for Xbox. I mean, it makes helps them sell consoles or whatever. But I disagree with them buying BLuehole because they haven't proven themselves. They've got what? I mean, as far as I know, they got this one game. They may not be able to make anything else. So no, do not buy BLuehole, because they may end up having BLuehole on their payroll, and their next game they come up with may be trash, and Microsoft paid them this whole time, and then they just get Microsoft gives them the axe, and they give them a bunch of money for what? To cut them off? Axe them? No, don't buy BLuehole.
Interesting. Fonz, what do you think about this, man?
I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with both Jago here.
Oh.
I think that BLuehole has proven themselves with this one game alone. It's already a hit. It's an addictive game. It has it's got a lot of addictive properties to it that make people keep coming back more and more. Not just the hardcore, but casuals as well. There's millions of people playing this on Steam all the time. Like there's so many people playing this game. I think right now, Xbox needs to acquire more studios that are proving themselves, which BLuehole is proving themselves with this game alone. But if they can get them now before they say make another big hit, they could probably acquire them at a much less cost than it would later on if they were to come out with more hits. But I think they need more studios. I mean, look at what Sony's done with acquiring Naughty Dog and stuff. And sure, we can say that they've proven themselves with various games and stuff, but you got to start somewhere with these companies. You got to start picking up companies and start making your own games exclusively and just try to get back on top, and what I mean by that is not necessarily that I want to see them being the top dog, but I want to see them being on equal playing field to Sony again. I want that competition because it's at the end of the day, it's better for the gamers. It's better for us. We need it.
I thought that same thing too, Jay. I didn't say it, but I thought that same thing too. I mean, like if they did acquire them, and they end up being not just PUBG, but they come up with something else that's a super hit, Microsoft would have got them for way cheaper than what it could buy them later. I agree with that, but you don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yes,
it would depend on cost, of course, but I think right now, PUBG being the animal that it is, I think, man, if you can go after that at a good price, go after that. Do it now, because that's huge.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, the game is huge. That's all I'm saying. I'm done.
Yeah, there's the term strike while the iron is hot. You guys have heard that, right? So basically, there's a story. I don't know if you guys heard it, but Microsoft was in talks with Mojang to acquire Minecraft, and this was way before they actually did it, right? Before they pulled the trigger. But Donnie D said no, right? He turned it down, and this is when it would have been a lower price, okay? And then they ended up doing it later when it was huge. And not only did they pay billions of dollars, they had to, you know, it was already on PlayStation, so they had to keep it there. You know, I don't think it was something that they wanted to do necessarily, but it's something that had to be done, right? You can't just rip it away from somewhere that was already there, right? So I think this situation, it comes down to the fact that Microsoft has trillions of dollars. They are a business after all. But in business, you need to make risks. You need to take risks to get rewards. If you don't take risks, you don't get rewards, right? So they do need new studios. They need new IPs. And they generally steer away from things that are going to conflict, right? So they got the third-person shooter with Gears. They got their first-person shooter with Halo. This type of game is out of that mold. It doesn't conflict with those because it's, you know, online only. It's a new style. It's a new type. You know, BLuehole is a new studio, but if there's any time to buy this studio, it would be now, because you know they're breaking numbers on Steam, and they're showing that this game does have you know longevity. So I'm with you know Fonz with his take that it would be a good idea to buy them. I don't think that they will necessarily. You know, it is a possibility. I think they'll just extend the exclusive time period with this game, and it will eventually go to PlayStation and blah blah blah. That's the thing that go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, so, there's another aspect to this too. Is you know I forgot who it was that touched upon this, but it might have been Nick or Jago. But oh my god, I just lost my train of thought, dude. Like,
damn it.
Man, I'll come back.
It's okay, dude. Yeah, but
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and I know I'm a fanboy of Titanfall. I would say if they were to buy anybody, buy Respawn, Vince Zampella. All the guys there have proven themselves. Buy that, give them the money, keep it exclusive, and let them develop the games they want to make, you know, and let them make Titanfall better. I know I'm a fanboy of Titanfall, so that's why I say that.
The problem with that is, I think Respawn would be much more expensive than BLuehole at this point.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So if you look at the two games, they're so different, and you got PUBG that is like hot right now, and like you know,
it is.
Dead. You know, you got to strike when the iron's hot. I think right now is the time to go after them if you're going to do that. And what I was going to say is earlier is I think it was Nick that said it, when the old regime that was there at Xbox was dealing with Bungie, and all that stuff was happening with Bungie and Microsoft. I think they're of a different mindset now. I think now, even though a lot of the same people are there, I think that Xbox has been humbled a lot since last gen.
Be humble.
I think it would be a different situation if they were to acquire a new company. I think that they would let them do their thing more than try to intervene and just mess up, because that was a big screw up in my opinion as well with Bungie. Because if Destiny was an exclusive to Microsoft, that would have been huge for them. Huge.
That's true. And you got to learn from history, or you know, it repeats itself. So I don't know. It's interesting to think it's not necessarily something that's going to happen or won't happen, but that's what these podcasts is for discussion and thought processes. So anyway, we're going to get into the last topic of the night. Then we're going to be doing the giveaway. I know that's what you guys are all looking forward to, some of you. And we're going to do our outros, and then I'm going to do the giveaway. So anyway, the last topic of the night, so you guys can get to the getting. There's news. This is an interesting news topic. We talked about it on GRG. So Assassin's Creed Origins is coming out, and it's going to be a big game. It's, you know, Ubisoft's making it. Apparently there's a mode that they're working on that's it's called Zero Combat Mode. So essentially you turn this on, and then what they're calling it is that it's offering the ability for people to go around into the game, and then it's essentially a tour of Egypt. It's educational or whatever. So you're turning off basically all the elements of the game, what makes it a game, the interactive nature of the game, and you're just walking around and touring the game. And then there's also the speculation that this is going to lead to skipping bosses and skipping difficult elements in the game, and that might be added. The question that I want to ask to Nick is this, I don't know, what is this something that is a slippery slope? I want to hear from you. Like, what's going on here with this developer? Do you think it's something that's good for gaming or bad? Let's hear it.
I honestly don't know what's up, man. I mean, it's just, I really don't know, man. I mean, I've been done with this franchise since, Black Flag. So, I haven't really been tuning in too much, to the Assassin's Creed, franchise. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just speechless on it, man. It's just I don't know what they're thinking, what they're doing, what the whole point of it is. So odd. It's just off to me. So somebody else take over.
That was deep.
I think it's a good thing.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Implications of it, I know it's probably not going to be, we don't have Xbox Ones in classrooms or whatever, but if there was, it's a very good learning tool for people, easy way for kids or just people in general to learn about. I read the article. I'm excited myself. I mean, to learn more about Egypt, because it's set in the time of Cleopatra.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's cool as shit, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think it'll be accepted well. I don't think people will really use it, but I think it's a cool idea. I wish more Assassin's Creed had done that in the past. Last Assassin's Creed I bought was Assassin's Creed 3, whatever that was. This is going to be the first one. I'm going to pick it up. First one I bought since then. But I mean, I think it's a cool idea because they're turning off all battles, all this. You'll actually be able to take tours from tour guides in the game. That's what I read. I think that's you'll actually be able to see people, blacksmiths or people just doing their daily jobs in the game. I mean, and you can walk around and learn. I think that's cool, dude. That is a cool idea.
If I want to learn, I'm gonna just go to school or go to college.
So what about the potential of adding a skip boss button? Because they mentioned that in the article. That might be down the pipeline. Don't you think that might be a slippery
That's
slope?
what I was getting at. The whole skip the boss button, dude. Like what in the that is no.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. Well, I don't know what the deal with that is. That's just that. Why? Like that just makes no sense.
See, I think people are coming at this kind of all wrong when it comes to this mode. Because when we were on GRG Salty, I didn't read about this. I didn't hear about this until it was presented to us. And the way it was presented to us was if this was part of the game that you can actually just dumb it down and just like walk around without, any enemies hitting you and stuff. And then there was going to be the potential there of skipping the bosses and stuff. So I was under the assumption that we were progressing through the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I took it as
no.
You won't doing anything in the game at all. You're just like exploring Egypt, and that's how it is. That's cool.
What Fonz is saying, like the way that we took it on the GRG podcast was different than what it actually is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the way it was presented to me. So I read the article earlier today, and it's weird because it's straightforward to me. It tells me that it is basically like an educational mode, and I think it's fantastic. A tour around Egypt. I think it's amazing to see the artwork that these artists have made for us. I think Like, I don't know what people are up in arms about, and the reach that some of these articles have been writing about it, about the skipping boss things. This was a complete fabrication and reach. This was not talked about from Ubisoft. Ubisoft is not saying they're going to have a skip boss mode. This is just given to us by these journalists. Again, journalists, stupid shit. Like, why? How do you go from educational mode to skipping bosses? Where does that like fit in the?
I read nothing in the article about skipping bosses. Maybe that was just me. Maybe
I think it was a different article, I think, but it was mentioned in there. But it was the journalist, and the thing is it spurred this negative discussion on the podcast we were on. It was crazy, dude. It was like witch hunting. You know what I'm saying? So that's, you know, what Fonz is talking about is the exact example, because, you know, something that a journalist writes, if it's non-factual, it's kind of fabricated, it's just kind of thrown in there, and someone reads it, it can balloon into this huge story, and it like becomes this like huge thing when it's not meant to be that way. You know,
what happened, Salty? It was picked up by, you know, folks like it was picked up by others on YouTube, and they ran with it. They acted like this was a feature that was coming, you know, and it's like, oh, this was a reach by a journalist. And I say that loosely because a lot of these journalists in gaming just aren't journalists. They don't do their homework. They don't do their due diligence. They're just writing bullshit pieces like this one was. And I believe this one came from, I'll look it up real quick. Rock Paper Shotgun was
oh god
place this was written. But yeah, so it was a complete reach going from educational mode to skipping boss fights. Like, no, this was not progressing you through the game. This whole mode, this educational mode, was just to see what they've created. And I think that if more games did this, I would take those tours. I would do it.
Me too.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, so it's stark contrast. So you go from one day to another, and how different the subject is. You know, like, this is a feature that's being implemented at a later date for an education purpose. It's, you know, so it's cool. You know, I personally would, if you have a kid that's not up to snuff and he wants to learn about Egypt, you know, just let him grab the game and go walk around and learn about stuff, you know.
Well, back in that era, it's what time it's set in Cleopatra era. I mean, that's a cool time to learn about Egypt. I'm interested to learn more.
So yeah, it's interesting. Who's actually going to pick that game up? Because I've heard personally from you guys that you haven't played since Black Flag. I almost said the wrong thing there. Oh my goodness! All right. But yeah, I got kind of burned out on the Assassin's Creed franchise, and I think that happened to a lot of people. Chat. Right?
Yeah.
Are you gonna?
For me, the Assassin's Creed series goes like this. I played 1, didn't finish it. Played 2, finished it, and loved it. Got into the third one, and I forgot what it was called, but I couldn't play it anymore. It was just like the same bullshit over again. I was like, this is just too much of Assassin's Creed. Like, just the mechanics and everything. It just got overwhelmingly mundane. You know, it was just the same over and over. So I stopped playing the game, and then Black Flag came out with the new consoles. So I said, okay, I'll pick that up. I realized immediately, not just the mechanics were there. I was fine with playing the game until I got to the playing the ship and then going after, you were whaling and stuff. You were killing whales.
Doing the shanties and stuff. Oh.
The whole premise, being on the water, most of the game really turned me off. I hated the ships. I hated it. I didn't like it because of that. Seeing Assassin's Creed Origins, to me, it looks more like, honestly, it looks like Assassin's Creed, the Far Cry edition. It looks like a Far Cry game. And I'm down with the Far Cry game. I like Far Cry. It's fun.
Me too.
I loved part 3. So
I didn't buy the last one. What was it? The primal one? I didn't buy that one.
Not either. But this one reminds me of Far Cry. So with the graphics that I saw on the X for this game, it looks phenomenal. So when I do
it does
X, when I get the X, I will end up getting this game. It looks that good.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with you. Man, I can't tell you what Assassin's Creed I finished because I start them and I get bored. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't beat 1, I beat 2, and I didn't beat 3.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just like
so
I beat all the way up. So
I think Assassin's.
I said forget all that.
Yeah, I think Assassin's Creed got greedy. I know it for a fact, right?
Oh yes,
They had this
did.
huge success for this game, and they just pumped it out. It was like a money printing machine, right?
They gave it the Call of Duty treatment, man.
Yeah.
I was going to say they try to be like Call of Duty. They didn't need to be like Call of Duty. No.
So
No, they even admitted it. We're putting a game out every year, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be terrible.
So then they had the problems with the unfinished animations, and then they had, you know, the franchise, the enthusiastic nature for the fans just dwindled off. And I think they did the correct thing, and they took some time off, and they totally I don't know, it feels more RPG to me, and I know it is. For example, you can get better weapons, you can get better gear and stuff like that. This game feels different to me. I'm excited for it for once. I haven't been excited for an Assassin's Creed in, I don't know, man. I can't tell you.
There's
real quick. Go ahead.
Aspects of the game that they've changed, and it's more like Far Cry in that you have more like animal threats. Like you'll have hippos coming after you, crocodiles, things like that.
What?
Yeah. So it's
that's cool.
There's more going on in the game than the past Assassin's Creed games. So
yeah, because the past ones, you're just like walking in the crowd, and then you try to stalk your subject, and you go find these towers and rinse and repeat, right? So it's more diverse, and that's what we're looking in video games. We don't like our games to become stagnant and repetitive. So
I was hoping for robotic dinosaurs like in Horizon Zero Dawn. Is there any of those in there?
You gotta put a secret cheat code in that pops up. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, real quick, before we do the giveaway, we're gonna do the outros. I just want to know who's in chat here, because I do give preference for the people that do stop by the podcast. I do use the tweet draw to pick it, so it's not like I'm just picking you randomly. So let me know. Type 1 if you're excited for Assassin's Creed Origins. Type 2 if you're not gonna buy it and you don't care. Just let me know who's here, and we'll be doing that giveaway after the outros. So let's get popping on the outros. I just want to give a special thanks and a shout out to Fonz and Jago. Thank you for stopping by for the Saltiest Podcast. I know you guys are busy. I know we got stuff to do, but it's fun. We keep this brief. We keep it, we don't go 3 hours on this podcast. We like to, get it popping, and we have some good discussion. And I want to thank you guys again for coming and stopping by. So anyway, let's start off with Jago. Let's give your outro, where we can find you, all that good stuff.
Well, I just want to say I appreciate it for inviting me, brother. I mean, anytime. You can just you can find me on Xbox Live and Twitter at Jago Kukin.
Mm-hmm. All right, man. Nick Fury, let's hear it.
You can find me on the Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all Nick Fury, just like my picture. You'll find the picture. I got some new artwork done by the man Cole Eastwood. He's legit. If you're looking for stuff like
brother,
yep,
check him out. He did great. Like I asked specifically, this is what I want. I'm watching this anime called My Hero Academia. I'm obsessed with it. I was like, I want to kind of do something like this. He said, okay, boom, I got it. Hooked me up with whatever I wanted. I mean, it looks great. So shout out to him.
He did mine. If you didn't know.
A word?
Yeah, nice. He did mine.
Nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say yours looks tight too, man.
Yeah, yours does.
That's all Cole. That's all Cole Eastwood right there.
That's cool, man.
That's nice. But yeah, so just check it out. Twitter, Nick Fury. YouTube, Nick Fury. Facebook, just started a new Facebook. Doing a Star Wars Battlefront 2 giveaway. I'm not going to put the link in the box. There's a video on my YouTube talking about it where the link's there. Check it out. All that.
All right, man. Well, thanks for that outro. Fonz, let's hear it, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate the invite. And I just got to say, this panel here, everybody on this panel, guys, is great people, man. They're fun gamers to game with, fun guys on Twitter, in podcasts and chats. Great guys. And also the chat, some of you guys, man, all of you guys in this chat here today are just amazing. So thanks for showing up. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at jfonzarelli, or I have a YouTube channel. You can find me under jfonzarelli or Everything According to Me. But yeah, so that's it, man.
Cool, man. Yeah. Okay, well, it's the time to do the draw here. Let's get to it.
Let's do it.
All right, man. Okay, putting it in. All right, Irrelevant Native, congratulations. I want to give a shout out to Lex Hazard. He is bringing this giveaway to you guys. I want you guys to give a special thanks to him and shout him out on Twitter. He's a great guy. He's been supporting this channel from the get-go. Yeah, $20 to you, my friend. Congratulations. I wish I could give everybody in the chat something, but it is what it is. Congratulations. I hope you have fun with that. Hit me up in the DMs on Twitter. I'll give my outro, I guess. Saltiest Gaming. This is my channel. I like to bring content on the daily. I'm passionate about gaming. I keep it salty when I get salty. I'll give you the explanation of Saltiest Gaming if you ask me on Twitter. Twitter's growing. I hit 1,600 subscribers on there. Followers on there. The channel's growing immensely. I appreciate everybody that has been giving. Has been positive in whatever. So feel free to hit me up on my YouTube, my Twitter, Xbox Live, anything. So anyway, yeah, that's gonna do it for us on the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back with another podcast next Sunday. Peace.